It's me again. I'm actually having a really good time doing this. Okay, let's get started on this video. I have so many things I want to talk about, but I did promise you a video about how they flooded my kitchen, because they did that first, and then they flooded my bathroom. So let's talk about the kitchen. On my Instagram page, there's actually a video of me overreacting to when the sink overflowed. That overreaction is actually a typical reaction based on me being autistic. I actually go through a lot of my life making a lot of noise, doing a lot of weird shit. And it wasn't until getting Gangstalk that I was able to actually look back at myself and see how I act in certain situations, that it made me realize that I am, in fact, on the spectrum. So aside from that, let's go back to the kitchen sink. If you do take the time to go look at the Instagram and watch the video, I actually think it's very hilarious, because that is a typical reaction. I just am screaming, ah! Okay. So the reason that I found out later on that my kitchen sink overflowed like that, it was because the upstairs neighbor had moved out. Plumbing is stacked. So I don't know if you know about plumbing, but I know that my on-site manager has lived here as long, if not longer, than I have. So he's fully aware of how the plumbing acts when things happen, right? So he is responsible for my kitchen sink overflowing because he admitted to forcing the clog from the drain upstairs down through the pipes. And what happens, if it's clogged up there, it's going to clog down here. And when it clogs down here, because I am the first one to get it, that shit overflows into my apartment. It doesn't go upstairs. It comes to this one, right? So my kitchen overflowed. This is the second time it's happened that I've known of since I've lived here. After the first time it happened, I actually didn't want to go into my kitchen for like a year because I didn't want to clean up the water. I cleaned it, but I still didn't feel like it was fully disinfected or sanitized because that water is coming up from like a collection of everyone's nasty shit water, right? So I'm just at home, I'm working, and all of a sudden I just hear water dripping on the floor. And then I text him, I call him, I text him, he's not available. And then eventually he gets back to me and he tells me, oh, we were working upstairs and shit happened, right? Basically, he is responsible, on-site manager is responsible for my kitchen sink overflowing the last time it did. Okay, so a few months later, several months later, probably even a year or so later, I think the day that it happened was like August 27th or something. So I got terminated from my last job August 20th, I think it was. August 20. Yeah, it was actually August 20th. So then I went up to go see my mom. I was out of town. And during the time that I was out of town, I had actually checked back on the cameras at like, what time was it? I think it was midnight. And it was at midnight that I noticed, oh man, that looks like the water in the tub is like nasty. It's at the top. What is happening? So then I immediately texted the on-site manager. Was it at midnight? 6 a.m. Midnight, I think I had noticed water in the bottom of the tub or debris. 6 a.m., the tub was full. All right. So 6 a.m., I messaged him like, hey, I'm out of town and I just looked at my cameras and my bathtub, for whatever reason, is full of water. It's actually overflowing. That's what it was. I went back and I checked the video. It had been overflowing since midnight, right? So at 6 a.m., I wake up to see if the alarms, everything's cool. Check back the video. Oh shit, that shit started filling up at midnight, right? I have everything. I can hear people talking about it. They're like upstairs. They pause. They come downstairs to check and see if the floor outside is wet. I don't know what they're doing, but it's the same people that repeatedly appear on my cameras, the same cameras that they asked me to take out, right? So those people are the people directly above me. On the night that my bathtub overflowed, they had steam cleaned the carpet, right? So he's seen probably 30 minutes prior to the tub starting to overflow, pushing that thing through. I got to get the timelines right because I don't think he was doing the steam cleaning at midnight, but let me check. Anyway, all I know is I see the steam cleaner, they come back through to like check something, and then I think it's when they start taking their shower. So after they clogged it a little bit, it like barely overflowed, and then I guess they poured more water. I don't know if they're saving the water or what, but they poured a bunch of fucking shit water. It was shit water because my tub's backed up before and it's never been shit water. So shit water that they had to have the plumbers actually clean the whole tub before I came home. Normally, when that shit has happened in the past, it's filled up just a little bit, it's gone down, and I've been the one who's had to clean it. So this time, they cleaned it spick and span clean too before I got home, because the debris that was in my tub, I'm positive it was actual carpet fibers and stuff. And then the on-site manager, let me get this timeline right because it's very important. 6 a.m., I notify him that I see the water overflowing. My cameras didn't get a video of the snake going into the bathtub until right before noon. So it took another 6 hours, right? He came in at 8 a.m. and checked, didn't do much of anything except for throw my stuff that was dry onto the wet stuff. And then after he, I don't know, took a look at it, whatever he was doing, it took them, what? So he entered my apartment at like 8 a.m., 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, another 4 hours to get a plumber in here, right? Do you know how many plumbing companies there are? That is an emergency. And then they wanted to try to pin the flooding on me. If he would have come in at 6 a.m. when I called him and told him that shit was flooding, there would have been no damage. Even at 8 a.m., if he was able to do something at 8 a.m., that's much better than letting it fucking just sit there for another 4 hours. So again, this is the on-site manager who has every ability to do better, but for whatever reason, he chose not to, right? So both instances, all of this stuff that's going on in my apartment, yeah, you can write it off as like, oh, that's normal, like that. Oh, this is what happened. That's why that happened. But at the same time, this person has lived here just as long as me and knows every bit as much about this building, probably more than I do. And he should have been fully aware of what the damages were going to be if he just let it sit there like that. And then when he was cleaning the upstairs, he knew that he was shoving a clog down into my drain, right? So it is the negligence of the on-site manager. Previously, before it switched into him being the manager, the only person that ever walked in front of my door was the on-site manager, and he would be sweeping. He swept almost daily. The building was clean. I was not suspicious of people coming in and out of my apartment. I didn't become suspicious until they switched it to this one guy named Kevin, who, while he was the on-site manager, my hot water heater never worked. I complained about it several times, never worked. So under his time at the building, my apartment key went missing the first time, right? So I had them give me a brand new lock. The lock that they got, I searched the item number. It should have come with 4 keys. I only got 3 of those 4 keys. And of the 3 keys that I had, do you know what? Kevin demanded to take one of those keys because he said he didn't get a key. But I knew that he did because I knew that the lock came with 4 keys. So that's 2 of the 4 keys that are just randomly out there for whoever to take, right? So Kevin eventually ends up leaving the building. And then it was after Kevin left the building that it was reported, what was it? No. While Kevin was here, I never gave him another key. That's what it was. I never gave Kevin another key. He took a key, and that was the only key that he got. So I had 3 of the 4 keys. I never gave him another key. So then when the new guy, the current on-site manager, took over, the book didn't have my key in it, and I actually had to give him another copy of a key. So now that Kevin's no longer here, I switched the locks during the height of the harassment to a new lock that nobody had a key to. On-site manager, I have text messages from him where previously, like I said, I've lived here 8 years and I never had that lock be the one, right? I didn't have to have that because Kevin took the key. I put on my own lock after that. So it didn't matter. I only had 3 keys. I actually had 2 keys to my own lock, right? So once Kevin's gone, I'm forced to change the lock to a lock that the on-site manager has a key now, right? And that's when all the funny shit started happening. You tell me what it is. Because, yeah, after I talk about it, I can see now, right? I have the locks in my kitchen. It's a set of locks he got at Home Depot, 3 keys. I had all 3 keys. And because I didn't trust him, I switched it to a Schlage lock that I had from a previous apartment where I had both copies of the key. So during that time, I wasn't suspicious of stuff going on in my apartment because I was confident I was the only person with the keys, right? So then fast forward to the new on-site manager taking over. They make a big fuss about not having a key of mine. I give him a key. But during that time, at least while I was still at home, I think I had actually changed to a different lock. But because I had started going to visit my mom and I realized that they could use that as a way to evict me, I actually changed it back to the lock that he has a key to. So I was under the impression that when they flooded my bathroom, they thought that I didn't have the right lock on there. And they thought it was going to be a smooth eviction. They were going to try to come in, the key wasn't going to work, and then they were just going to leave me a notice on my door saying I had to go. But they didn't know that I let them come in because, like I said, every time they keep fucking with me, I'm just going to do the opposite, right? You no longer have me in a state of fear. You want to come in my apartment? Come in my apartment, right? You want to steal all my shit? Come steal all my shit. Not really. Don't fucking steal my shit. But if that is like what you're going to try to use to put me in a state of fear, I don't give a fuck about this. What is more important to me is leaving you guys the fuck alone. So, you can tell me whatever you're going to do. You're going to do this. You're going to do that. That was the whole beginning. In the beginning, all of the harassment was, as soon as you go outside, or we're gonna do this, everything's being posted on social media. It was a whole lot of threats, and all of those threats reminded me of someone who is scared to be themselves. They lie to people about things. Like, none of that is me. So you can say whatever you want about me, your opinion. You can tell me, but it doesn't really matter to me because I know who I am. I can walk around like this and be fucking happy. You cannot do shit to me. Like, you should know that. But yet they still continue to try. And I just love looking at myself. My confidence, my self-esteem is something you can never take away from me. It don't matter how ugly I am. It don't matter how fat I get. I can look at myself and be happy because I know I'm a beautiful person. So I don't know what this really accomplished, much of anything, aside from letting you know that both times that my shit got overflowed, it is a direct result of the on-site manager or my direct neighbors above me who are fully aware that we have stacked plumbing and that they knew that they could flood my apartment. And they did it at the most opportune time when I wouldn't be home for several hours, days even. And had I not noticed it on my cameras, it would have gone on for days, you know? So another thing that happened when they flooded my bathroom, like I had mentioned in previous videos, I got a notice on my door before they even had the plumber put the snake in, I think, blaming me for the flood, right? He said, "Oh, I bet it's all the debris from the lint from washing clothes." That's not true. He actually had no clue what it was because they had not even put the snake in the toilet. And I have a video of him putting the notice on my door. It's time stamped. And then I have a video of when they put the snake in the tub. So that proves enough for me. If I was on any jury, I'd be like, this guy's completely guilty. That proves to me that my on-site manager has a little bit of involvement in it. I think that's good for this video. Another thing I want to cover in my next video is just recently, Gabby, what's her name? I don't know, gymnast, Gabby something, whatever her name, Gabby Douglas. She came on the news talking about how she's noticed a large number of men at the airport asking for her autograph. right? For her, in her position to say that, it has to be out of the ordinary, right? She's already a celebrity. She knows people recognize her. She's used to people recognizing her and asking for autographs. So for her to go on to the news and say that it's like an extreme, what do you call, I don't even know the words, like a large number of people out of the ordinary, it makes me believe that the same people who are, maybe not the same people, but the same organization, the same type of thing that happened to me, they're using whatever platform it was to share her information, her whereabouts, so that they can go do the same thing to her. Essentially, it is the same thing. It's like what it reminds me of, you know, when they used to have flash mobs. So however they're getting together for a flash mob, it's the same thing as gang stalking, but it's a different intent. Um, so that's just what I wanted to say. Another thing about Gabby Douglas, I did find out, I don't know what the truth is to it because, again, I don't believe everything I read on the internet, but what I did research about her, we actually went to the same high school. If we didn't go to the same high school, it's in the same city. I don't know if she did an independent study class, excuse me. But we definitely spent those, like, what is it, the time that we were 18 in the same area. So I don't know what connections it has back to Oak Park, but Oak Park, California is a very small town. My graduating class had maybe 200 kids in it. And of those 200 kids, a lot of them I have seen in my stories. They haven't talked to me since high school, but I see them watching me. I do think it's odd. I don't think it's enough evidence for me to say, hey, they're definitely involved. But I do, like, I'm almost at the point where I'm going to get out push pins and strings and start connecting the people and the things, because it's like, this should not be happening. That's all I can say. This is, I don't know. But I know that when I look at myself, I can see reason that somebody would hate me. I'm fucking beautiful, bitch. Well, that's it for tonight. I just wanted to let you know about my bathtub and the kitchen overflowing. Go check out that video on my Instagram. Watch me scream like a little bitch. And then the other thing, I will try to get videos up of when the plumber came and moved my camera. But part of the reason I don't post those videos is because that compromises my security. If I start giving away camera angles, right, it's not, I don't think that's a good idea. Another thing, they think that because the camera buttons are not colored up or those cameras are off, those cameras are recording always.